Welcome back to the channel, and buckle up because what I am about to dive into is not just your usual WWE SmackDown backstage scoop. It is an explosive escalation of a rivalry that has quickly spiraled into one of the most chaotic and personal feuds in recent WWE memory. Last night's SmackDown did not end when the cameras stopped rolling. In fact, that is when the real storm began to rage. Tensions in the locker room were already running high after weeks of unresolved grudges, but nobody could have predicted the level of intensity that would erupt between Jimmy Uso and Drew McIntyre. Their rivalry, once just a storyline conflict inside the ring, has now turned extremely personal, and last night it spilled over in a way that forced WWE officials to intervene in full force. During the later part of the show, an all-out brawl broke out backstage. Witnesses claim it started suddenly, with Jimmy Uso confronting Drew McIntyre over what he described as ongoing disrespect and unfinished business. Whatever words were exchanged didn't stay just words for long. Within seconds, fists were flying and chaos erupted. The fight between these two top WWE stars didn't stay in one hallway either. It stretched across multiple backstage areas as both men refused to back down. WWE referees swarmed the scene almost immediately, followed by security staff who had to physically separate the two. The intensity of the altercation shocked everyone present. Tables were knocked over, equipment was trashed, and other superstars and staff members had to scramble to get out of the way as Drew and Jimmy continued to go after each other like two men who were fighting not for a match, but for pride. From what sources at the arena revealed, it wasn't just a heated disagreement. It was personal fury boiling over. Even after they were pulled apart, both superstars attempted multiple times to break free from security and re-engage, screaming at each other and swearing that things were far from finished between them. Drew McIntyre, already known for his violent and unpredictable temper in recent weeks, seemed completely unhinged. Jimmy Uso, equally fired up, showed no hesitation in standing his ground. The fight was so intense that WWE had to increase security presence backstage for the rest of the night just to prevent another physical confrontation between the two. But the chaos didn't end with the brawl itself. In fact, the aftermath created an even bigger storm behind the scenes. Just moments after Drew was dragged in one direction and Jimmy in another, WWE SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis was seen storming through the backstage corridors with purpose. Aldis has already earned a reputation for being a no-nonsense authority figure, but last night, he was on another level. It was clear he had seen enough. Reports indicate that Aldis marched directly to Jimmy Uso's locker room and demanded a face-to-face conversation. According to those who overheard parts of the intense exchange, Aldis did not mince his words. He delivered a strong message. He would not tolerate out-of-control behavior on his show. Not from Drew McIntyre. Not from Jimmy Uso. Not from anybody. SmackDown, he said, would not devolve into a lawless battlefield. While WWE loves intensity and rivalry as part of the business, Aldis made it abundantly clear that attacking people backstage without sanction would no longer be tolerated. He reportedly warned Jimmy Uso that any further unsanctioned violence would result in severe consequences. Fines. Suspensions. Or even worse. Now, most superstars might have backed down when confronted by authority, especially when WWE penalties were on the table, but not Jimmy Uso. Instead of accepting Aldis's warning quietly, Jimmy fired back. He didn't apologize. He didn't show fear. He stood his ground and insisted that Drew McIntyre started the fight. Jimmy argued that he only defended himself and that if Drew wants to attack him, he will always be ready for a fight anytime, anywhere. The Samoan spirit in Jimmy was burning hot, and he made it known that he will not be intimidated by anyone, not by Drew McIntyre, and not even by upper management. Jimmy reportedly told Aldis that if Drew lays his hands on him again, he won't hesitate to respond even more fiercely. That answer reportedly did not sit well with Aldis, who has been desperately trying to restore order to the blue brand ever since things began spiraling out of control between rival factions and individual superstars over recent weeks. Aldis later told various staff members that if these two wanted to destroy each other, they would have to do it inside the ring in an official match, with rules and consequences, not backstage like street criminals. Meanwhile, word is spreading through the locker room, and reactions are mixed. Some superstars reportedly think Jimmy was justified, arguing that Drew McIntyre has been bullying his way across SmackDown for weeks and needed someone to push back. Others are saying Jimmy is too hot-headed for his own good and may have just made a very dangerous enemy. On the other hand, Drew McIntyre has not been silent either. While his statements have not been made publicly, insiders claim he has no regrets and even feels he did not do enough damage during the fight. Drew has apparently vowed that this is not over, not by a long shot. He wants another shot at Jimmy and has made it clear that if it happens again, things will get even uglier. WWE officials are reportedly concerned that the violence between them could escalate past company control if something isn't done quickly. That's why Nick Aldis is expected to make a major ruling soon. Rumors are already swirling that Aldis is considering forcing Jimmy Uso and Drew McIntyre into an official match, possibly even at a premium live event, to settle things the right way. But knowing the explosive history between these two, an ordinary match might not be enough. Speculation suggests Aldis may have to authorize a stipulation match, maybe a no disqualification match, a falls count anywhere brawl, or even a steel cage, just to make sure they can settle this war without destroying the backstage area or causing more chaos on the SmackDown roster. Some insiders are even predicting that Aldis might lay down an extreme ultimatum. If they fight again without his approval, both men could face indefinite suspension. WWE management has invested too much in both superstars to let them tear the company apart from within. But at the same time, fans are already buzzing about what comes next because this rivalry has become real. This is the kind of feud that doesn't just stay in the ring. It follows both men everywhere. Social media exploded after word of the fight broke online. The WWE universe is split, and debates are raging. Some fans are backing Jimmy Uso, praising him for standing up to Drew McIntyre's recent dominance. Others are behind Drew, calling him the true warrior who's tired of people like Jimmy acting entitled. The storyline now feels bigger than just two men. It's about respect, revenge, and raw emotion. The next SmackDown is already one of the most anticipated episodes in recent months because fans are waiting to hear from Nick Aldis. What decision will he make? Will he punish Jimmy Uso? Will Drew McIntyre be fined too? Will there be legal action? Will he force them into the ring face-to-face whether they like it or not? And more importantly, will either man even wait until then to throw the next punch? Based on last night's chaos, it is clear that Drew and Jimmy are like dynamite and gasoline together, dangerous and expel.